Okay, so I have 2 special guests and probably momentarily a cat. And we, except for the cat, just went to see Ready Player One, which is a book that all 3 of us have read. Ginger, who is older than I am, really enjoyed the book.
Yeah. Who was cognizant during the 80s.
Yes.
Really enjoyed the book. Mallory, who was 2 during the 80s, and Megan, who did not even see the 80s, did not like it.
So my issues with the book, a lot of them were kind of fixed with this film, but my biggest issue with the book is that there were no other characters except for Wade, and Wade was really boring.
Like, really perfect. They never had any obstacles that they needed to overcome. They never tried a technique to get the egg or the key or whatever they were doing and failed. It was always like they did it and it was right, or they did it and somehow them doing it helped them later and they needed to do it, or it would have been over.
Yeah.
So it was like there was nothing.
Like having an extra life.
Yeah. Like having an extra life because you did something wrong. You did something wrong and it meant that you won in the end.
Yeah.
Great.
And so he was kind of boring, and then most of the other characters didn't exist. The one thing that the book had going for it, well, clearly a nostalgia factor for the people who really like the 80s. But for me, one of the most interesting things was that H, who is a dude, a white dude, too, in the, like, video game Oasis world, was actually a black young adult female.
Lesbian.
Yes. In the real world. And I thought that was really interesting, and she had an interesting, like, discussion about why she did what she did, and I thought that was a good commentary, and they cut that out of the movie.
They also cut out, really, that she was a lesbian. Like, she looked gay. She was, like, dressed gay, if that's a thing. But, like, it would have been
flannel, and I'm just going to point to the one person here wearing flannel.
She was wearing flannel and a snapback, but, like, if you are not, like, in the young gay community, or if you, like, are a very conservative person and don't want a character in your movie to be gay, then, like, you could just ignore that completely. And it would have been so easy for her to be like, what, didn't expect a young black lesbian? Instead of just saying, what, not what you were expecting. And just, like, would have easily... So that was, like, one of the little things in this movie that bothered me. But other than that...
Ginger liked the book, so I'll let her talk for a second.
So I did enjoy the book because the nostalgia factor is there. I always like cramming as much stuff into something that I can. I love references and things like that. And it was an easy, fun read. I also got to listen to the audiobook with Will Wheaton, which was thoroughly enjoyable because Will Wheaton. So
yeah, I would say also Mallory and I read a book with a very similar concept. I thought she was going to say this, but the one thing that Ready Player One really does have going for it is the concept is really catching, this kind of like digital world that you get immersed in and the world gets immersed into. But Mallory and I in January read Otherworld, which is a very similar concept, a newer release, a shorter book that is part of a duology, where the second book hasn't come out yet. November, we're really excited. And it was so good that, like, Ready Player One in comparison was, like,
a disappointment.
just worse. Like, it was just objectively, like, a worse set of characters and, like, a less interesting narrative, which, like, obviously Otherworld is a little derivative from Ready Player One, and I wouldn't be surprised if they'd read the other book.
Yeah.
But...
I would say with Ready Player One, I thought that the Oasis and the way that it was built was more interesting. I have read several books with the same premise. I had, like, probably when I was, like, 13 or 14, had a kick of, like, virtual reality ideas. And I read a great book called Virtual World that I really enjoyed that had a similar idea. And they always come in basically the same way. So, like, everyone is in the virtual world and it's mostly replacing your entire life. And either the fact that it's replacing your life is the bad thing. There was a movie like that, which I think had Hugh Jackman, where, like, everybody's bodies were decaying. And so, like, that's the bad thing. Or the other trope, which is where Ready Player One and also Oasis fall, which is...
Otherworld.
Otherworld.
Ready Player One and its own game, The Oasis, fall in the same category. Who would have thought?
What craziness?
Otherworld and Ready Player One fall into the sort of idea that something nefarious in the real world is like hurting people or using people because they're in the virtual world.
And there's usually like a big like tech company associated with this plot. In both cases there were.
Or government. Sometimes it's government. Now, the movie, I much preferred. In fact, part of me wishes I hadn't read the book, which is not something I say very often, because certainly at the first viewing of the movie, I was struck by a lot of the things that are different. Megan described the film this way, and it's my favorite description. It's like somebody mumbled the plot of the Ready Player One book to somebody who then mumbled what they thought they heard to somebody else, and then that person was like, I have a great idea for a movie. And that's how this film came about. But I liked most of it. First off, it made everyone into a real character. Wade actually cared about his aunt. That was nice.
Yeah,
he was like kind of upset instead of just being like, well, my whole family died. No big.
The funny thing was that like they, in the other book, like the only reason he's sad that the stacks, like, spoilers by the way, that the stacks blow up is that the like little old lady who lived on the bottom floor would have died, and in the movie she doesn't die because then she just walks up later and it's like, oh
yeah, somehow she was alive.
Guess was grocery shopping.
Yep, she must
conveniently.
But
no, it's because there's the deleted scene where he calls her before
calls her before calling his aunt.
Listen,
Mallory and I
had
the identical reaction though, because like the aunt is not a great character. Like she's, I feel like, redeemable, but she's not a big enough like part of the story to get any sort of redemption arc. But like you don't see the fact that she's like evil and awful and horrible. But her boyfriend is clearly like evil, awful, and horrible. And he like is on the phone with Wade, and Wade's like, get out, get out, get out. And the boyfriend is like, I never want to hear your voice again. And then the place explodes. And Mallory and I both were like, and you won't have to. Because same sense of humor.
To be fair, I thought that.
Yeah.
I just don't talk in the movie.
Please don't spoil the movie by adding your own soundtrack.
No, that's the way to watch movies, with your own soundtrack.
So the music in this movie was really fun though. I felt like that was like initially, which unfortunately like we walked into the movie a couple minutes late, but like the music starting the film, the music that was playing when we walked in was like, it came on and I was immediately like, oh yeah, like we're not gonna just have to read lists of song titles, like this will actually have the 80s music that is catchy and good in it. And that really helps like cement the world. Another reason we were talking about in the car that the movie is a better medium for this story is because like you can see and hear the references instead of just like getting text of them.
Yeah.
And you can include more, and you can just like have a gigantic, beautiful battle scene with so many references. I'm gonna have to watch it several times just to find them all.
Yeah, the guys. So I left the film right after credits to use the restroom, and there were guys in the lobby talking about that battle scene and all the things, and they clearly like loved it. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they hadn't read the book, because at no point during the conversation that I listened to did they say that didn't happen in the book, which you would have said had you read the book.
Because
several things were different. Several things were different.
The things that are the same are like the character names, the general premise of the story a little bit, but like sliced in half for time's sake. And not like a part 1, part 2 half, but literally like let's take every plot point and make it half as long. In that the challenges, instead of doing like a key, a clue, and a gate, were just like the key for each one. And like that was pretty much it. Just like characters and like general plot-ish points, idea, setup sort of thing. But like he's originally in Ohio in this, so like cuts out any need for him to get to Ohio.
Yeah, cut out a lot of physical world.
Yeah.
But they cut out a ton of physical world and introduced a ton of new physical world, because all of our characters meet each other way earlier.
Yeah,
like,
that was interesting.
So, my favorite thing about the film, as I said, is that it has other characters in it. The book has Wade, and then he's got this supporting cast of people that you don't really learn anything about literally ever. and they're all pretty two-dimensional. It was my biggest problem.
My favorite part of the book is that his entire relationship with Artemis is a chapter that is an info dump. It's not like we get some of his date. He literally info dumps like, we went here and it was fun and we went here and then it was fun and we went here.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't even give them a meaningful relationship.
Yeah,
or
they didn't have any scenes.
Yeah, they have no scenes.
But here, Artemis is like the catalyst, and she's awesome. She
really
is
like
the
her.
one who's fighting. She is the one who does like similar-ish things to what Wade does. I also
I
liked
like that
that
swap.
they made Wade be like, I really want to win because it would be great to have money. And she's like, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need to save the Oasis. And then he's like, oh, okay, I guess that's right. Versus in the book, he like clearly is on that path to begin with. Also, they made the main villain. Well, they introduced a secondary villain to be like the
I like
physical
her.
world
And
killer.
she's a lady.
She's awesome.
But they made like the main villain in the book is like a two-dimensional cutout of a villain who has no emotion except I am evil and I will kill you, and like literally it's just like flatline the whole time.
Also,
He has no depth, and this guy was
Nolan-
more interesting. Like Nolan was much more interesting.
in the book, Nolan seems to be like controlled by people like above Nolan.
Yeah.
And like IOI is like a little bit bigger of like a force rather than we're directly dealing with this head of the company. So it was interesting.
This version of Nolan has 8 people in order to hand him a suit jacket.
It's kind of great.
Actually,
Literally, those people
but-
walked away
but-
and Mallory was like, what? Why?
Okay, no. But also, who keeps their password on a post-it note?
Nobody.
Everybody in the 90s. Like, and the early 2000s.
First off, I just started working at a brand new office with a bunch of young millennials, and I lifted
How
up the
long-
mouse pad to see the password of the person who used to sit at my desk who is younger than I am.
But how long has he worked there, and how long has he had that password?
I mean, I change my password at my work every 2 months.
Yeah, it
I
could
mean,
be.
It's
it could be something he has
super
to-
annoying.
Yeah.
However,
that's a
it's
good
not
one.
even a full post-it. Like, he can't afford that. Half a post-it.
Half a post-it.
Ripped.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we made this chair too small. The post-it doesn't fit. Fixed.
The other.
It was bothering me the whole
Took a
time
while.
too.
Yeah.
That like he's walking around and clearly memorizing the whole area, and like his password is sitting right there.
I like it.
Yeah, he probably just doesn't even think about the fact that it's there, though.
True, I guess.
One of the things that I liked too that was a change is that they made they made Sho an 11-year-old kid, which
Yeah.
I thought was really fun.
However, they made Shoto Sho for seemingly no reason.
Yeah,
Why
I
was there a name change? If you know, for God's sake, tell us.
Yeah, and also because they're Daito and Shoto because that's the name of the weapons.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, does Shoto, like, secretly not mean the weapon? And Ernest is an idiot, and so they were like, he messed up, let's fix it for him in this movie, like they did with, like, 800 other things.
I don't know because I don't know that well. That's
Yeah.
one of the things I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't do Japanese culture. But I enjoyed the fact that he was 11. I also liked the fact that
He didn't die?
no
Yes.
one died.
I liked the fact that the high five didn't die, and also it makes me a little sad.
They also call themselves a clan
Megan.
at the end.
Yeah.
High five.
They called themselves the High Five, and Mallory literally was like,
Yeah.
that was a low 5 in
Yeah.
the theater. Even
That's
this.
true.
Like, that's not high enough. I find it interesting. I feel like the people who, like, this screenplay was, like, co-written by the original book author, but, like, also by someone else. And I feel like the someone else looked at all of his plot points and was like, listen, dude, you made a lot of mistakes in this book. There were a lot of things that are not good. This is the redemption. Like, let's fix it. Because I feel like the message of the movie is completely different, too. In that, like, at the end, they're like, he's like, I'm gonna split this with my clan. Whereas in the movie, like, or in the book, even at the very end, he's like, absolutely not. Like, I'm doing this alone. Only one of us can do it. Like, I care about you guys, but like,
No,
and everyone's
they
telling
all
them
do it
to
together
go.
because you have to all go
They
together.
do the key thing
and
together.
he does that big announcement. If I win, I will share it with these people.
But
He
like,
does say that.
that's at the very like.
It's before they open the gate.
But he doesn't call them his clan in the same way.
That's
He's
true.
still
He
very
doesn't
like,
call them the clan.
He's very like
He says,
anti-clan.
I'm going to share them. I'm going to share. If I win, I'm sharing it with Artemis, H, and I guess Daito is still alive, right?
And he like, it's very like individual based. Like if it's trying to go for a like you have to work together angle, which like it kind of is in the book because you have to do like the 3 keys from the 3 different people. It like doesn't go all the way.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this
weirdly goes all the way, despite the fact that there's literally no mention of clans, unless that happened in the middle.
No, it happened in the beginning.
Yeah, it happened at the beginning.
She talks about, are you with a clan? And he's like, no, when they're in the workshop.
Yeah, she goes, I don't do clans. At some point, does he explain what a clan is? Did I miss that part?
it kind of makes sense from context clues.
Yeah.
I feel like
Because they don't ever encounter a clan.
no,
They don't ever run into other people searching for the keys at all.
that's not true.
Except
Though there are
the-
other people in the race who aren't
Yeah.
Sixers.
Yeah,
And there are,
but
like,
that
other
would be a great
people-
time for like, I don't know. It was something that I found sort of strange.
They didn't have
because
an
they were like,
influence
we
person.
are definitely not a clan, but then they're literally working on every clue together. And I was like, I haven't seen other clans, so I don't know how they operate, but it seems
Yeah.
to me like you are one.
And I think that was kind of the point, was
Yeah.
that like they are one. They also said something like in the van about like bring your clans, all of the clans
Yeah.
come.
All the
Yeah.
bunch of
And then
clans.
all of the people were there working together, and like they kind of realized that like clanning up's not a bad thing. No. You have to work together, not be an asshole.
So overall, I'm gonna give this movie. I think I'm probably sitting at like 3.5 stars.
I was gonna say 3.5.
I would say between 3.5 and 4, so we'll go 3.75.
A solid 3.75.
Because it's like when you were explaining the differences between like book versus movie, and it just keeps like those key points. It's like going to see Wicked and reading Wicked, or Ella Enchanted.
No, it's like going to see Wicked and you've read The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a little bit more disparate.
It's like,
I mean, yeah, okay.
It reminds me
but
of
Ella
the
Enchanted is a little
separation.
bit closer.
Have you read the Vampire Diaries?
LOL.
Okay, so it reminds me a lot of the Vampire Diaries and the Vampire Diaries television show, in that it has characters with the same name, and there are vampires and witches and humans
And some
werewolves.
diaries.
Well, that's what Ella Enchanted is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It has
I
a
agree.
curse, and it has someone named Ella.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and I think the prince's name is the same too.
Ella, she's enchanted. It's Ready Player One.
So if you have not read the book, go to this movie. If you have read the book and you enjoyed it, go to this movie.
If you have read the book and you didn't enjoy it, you go
Go
see
to
this
this
movie.
movie. Yeah, I would say that it was a fun romp, and it's a film worth seeing, and it's definitely a film people are going to be talking about. So it's one that you probably should see.
I also think it's better to see in theaters. Like, it's one of
Yes.
those movies
Yeah.
that will be enjoyable in theaters.
And also, judging from the credits, like visual effects in this are big. I mean, most of it takes place in a virtual world, so there's a lot of effort put into this, and it's sort of showcasing a talent that I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Spielberg's most expensive movie in over a decade.
Good for
Go
him.
give him money so he doesn't
So we can make
go
other movies.
bankrupt
Yeah.
and never make a movie again.
All right. And with that, which I'm not going to edit, I'm sure that this is ridiculously long.
Oh, please edit.
I'll
We've been
see you
ridiculous.
tomorrow.
No, I'm not doing that.